Well, with the NFL season vastly approaching, lots of questions are rising up about coaches, especially some more than others. Let's rock. All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Antonio, and welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast. Today, we are going over my top 10 NFL coaches that are on the hot seat entering the 2024 NFL season. Now, of course, this team, now, of course, these teams are going to be, there's going to be a lot of questions surrounding a lot of teams. So I'm going to be going over my top 10 NFL coaches that are on the hot seat this year. But before we do, I wanted to give a shout out two things. Number one, we just hit over 300 subscribers, so that is a really good thing. Hopefully we can keep that going and keep it progressing. And then second thing is, hopefully I'm trying to aim for 375 subscribers before the beginning of the NFL season that starts on September 5th against the Ravens and the Chiefs. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's get this video started. So starting us off at number 10 is the Cleveland Browns head coach, Kevin Stefansky. Now, Kevin Stefansky, what a story last year with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, with Deshaun Watson going down midway through the NFL season last year, to then have Joe Flacco come in from the couch to come in and lead his team to the playoffs, where they would go on to eventually lose to the Houston Texans. But this team is on the line because his coaching job is on the line, because if we see that from Joe Flacco, we should be able to see that from Deshaun Watson. And the truth is, Deshaun Watson has not been so productive since he left Houston, with all those allegations and those lawsuits that he had going against him at the time when the trade actually happened. But this Browns team has to at least make the playoffs and have to at least win a playoff game. Their defense is amazing, with Myles Garrett leading the charge. Their offense, they got lots of weapons around them. You got Jerry Jeudy now, you got Amari Cooper, you got Nick Chubb, and you also got David Njoku, which should be a good playoff team if they do make it there. So hopefully this happens, but Kevin Stefanski is at number 10 for the NFL coaches on the hot seat this year. At number 9 on this list, they were a playoff team a few years ago, but then they had a losing season, as we all expected they would. You got Brian Daboll and the New York Giants. Now, the Giants. This team is probably the definition of a swamp team right now.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
But not just that, but they don't have a quarterback. I mean, sure, they might have Drew Lock, which I'm hoping he gets the start. And, I mean, Daniel Jones, he is terrible. He is trash. I mean, he has barely even been able to play in the league. He only had one breakout year 2 years ago, which they beat the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs, who they actually beat against week 1. But Brian Daboll has to lead this team to victory again. He lost Saquon Barkley via free agent sweepstakes to your division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. But anyway, and then you also lost Xavier McKinney, I believe was it his name, or something like that, to the Green Bay Packers. And they also are just terrible. I mean, they did get Brian Burns, which should help them in their rebuild, but Brian Daboll has to lead this team to where it was 2 years ago, which is the playoffs. If they can't, this team is pretty much screwed. So that is why I have this team Brian Daboll coming in at number 9. At number 8 is the New Orleans Saints head coach, Dennis Allen. Now, as we all know, the Saints have not been very good since Sean Payton left, which I want to say it, but they've been kind of looking mediocre for the past few years since Sean Payton left. They've not made a playoff appearance, and they've given the division to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the last 3 years. But this one is the most important because Derek Carr is trying to revive his career with the Saints. You got a better defense now with Chase Young and other guys coming in, but you need to show up. You have to prove you're still the team that you once were under Sean Payton. And Dennis Allen is not, I don't think he's that, but you need to prove yourselves to the Saints, or else they're going to fire you in a mere instant. But that's why I have Dennis Allen at number 8. At number 7 on this list is one of my team's division rivals, which is the Cardinals coach, Jonathan Gannon. Now, Jonathan Gannon, he was decent last year. Got the surprising win over the Eagles last year and the Steelers.
Huh?
But they still ended up being one of the worst teams in the NFL, which was 4-13, tying with the second worst record in the NFL. But Jonathan Gannon has more pressure on him now because he got a better roster now. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming in. You got loads of free agents. But Kyler Murray needs to break out is what he really needs to do. Because Kyler Murray, I honestly just believe he's overrated. Because he has not even played the last couple years because of injury. The last few seasons because of injury. But a few years ago, this team was a playoff team, but got ousted in the first round to their division rival, the Rams, which they would go on to win the Super Bowl, as we all know. But the Cardinals do need to show up this year, or else there's going to be a massive reset put into place because Kyler Murray, I just believe he's overrated, but you also got a talented roster. You need to show up this year. If Jonathan Gannon cannot lead this team better to what it was than last year, he's going to be up and out of there before you know it. That's why I have Jonathan Gannon at number 7. So at number 6, I have one of my 2 little girls here, little Mr. Robbie girl. I'm currently giving her tummy rubs right now. But at number 6, I've got the New York Jets head coach, Robert Saleh, which for some odd reason, they are Super Bowl contenders for some reason.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm sorry, I just don't know why they're highlighted as a Super Bowl contender. It's the Jets. But when you have this team rosterized as you do, you have to have this team show up and at least make the playoffs. If you cannot make the playoffs, or let alone a Super Bowl appearance as you are declared to be, you need to at least win a playoff game. You have to do it at the very least. But you need to show us that you are what you say you are. And I just don't see it with a bad man that is aging. I don't see it with a bad man that's aging. Their defense is pretty good, but we have to see it first to believe it. Especially coming off an Achilles injury, that is going to really affect Aaron Rodgers. So that's why I have Robert Saleh at number 6. At number 5, I've got Sean Payton, the current head coach for the Donkeys, the Denver Broncos, as I like to call them, Donkeys. But anyways, Sean Payton came there first in a god-awful situation after the Russell Wilson trade went terribly wrong for the Denver Broncos.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
Get out of here. Go on, beat it.
But Sean Payton's now tasked with a new objective, trying to get Bo Nix coming off of the ground. But if Sean Payton's going to revive his career as a head coach, he has to get Bo Nix going. He has to get him fired up like a superstar. And I just don't see that happening when the only two weapons you have are Patrick Surtain on defense and Cortland Sutton on offense. I just don't see it, but Sean Payton is Sean Payton. He's pretty much overrated and has not won a Super Bowl since the Bounty Gate that happened a few years back. But that's why I have Sean Payton at number 5. At number 4 is Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills. Now, the reason why behind this being is they let go of their two top receivers, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis went to the Jaguars, and Stephon Diggs was traded to the Houston Texans. The Bills, Josh Allen has to have a breakout year this year if they are going to even consider keeping Sean McDermott in the building, because you cannot tell me that you lose all those weapons and then all of a sudden just go out in flames pretty much.
No. Wait.
But anyways, the Bills need to prove themselves, and if they can win the division again, they need to make an AFC Championship appearance. At the least, they have to make an AFC Championship game. But anyways, that's why Sean McDermott is at number 4. At number 3, I put this coach on here because he's the coach of America's joke, the Dallas Cowboys coach, Mike McCarthy. A few years ago, he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers and got beat out by his former team last year in the playoffs in embarrassing, humiliating fashion as per usual. But Mike McCarthy, this guy needs to show up. He has to prove with all those weapons gone that it doesn't matter. You have to win a Super Bowl this year. As always, it's a Super Bowl or bust because you're the Cowboys, for crying out loud. All you do is rave. Oh, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Oh, we got the number 1 offense in the NFL. Oh, we're this. Oh, we're that. Well, you got to prove it, god dang it. You got to prove it first before we believe it. You have not made a Super Bowl since 1996 and not have made an NFC Championship appearance since 1996. The last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, I wasn't even born yet. The Cowboys, they have to show up, and they're obviously not going to because it's what they do. They choke in the brightest of lights. They do it every single year. Every year, we give them all this hype of them being the best team in the NFL. And then kaboom, they go crashing down like a bag of chips. But anyways, that's why Mark McCarthy's at number 3. At number 2 is the Steelers head coach, and it's Mike Tomlin. Because we know his streak of winning records. We know of his streak. But you have to win you need to go to an AFC Championship game sooner or later. And it is the last time you made an AFC Championship appearance was probably about 8 years ago or so. And you need to show up. You have not been anywhere near relevant in 8 years. You have not won a playoff game in 8 years. You have not been dominant with the team you have. Because Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are 2 mediocre quarterbacks. And if they're saying Arthur Smith is really better than Matt Canada, then they got to prove it, for crying out loud, because Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are 2 mediocre quarterbacks. And based on the record of Arthur Smith as a head coach in Atlanta, his weakness is mediocre quarterbacks. And I do believe the Steelers are going to have a losing season because it is a matter of time before karma comes back to bite them. Not just in that Super Bowl they robbed from my team, the Seahawks, but also around other teams around the league. You have gotten away with so many game-winning calls. It is about time that you got a little karma back your way, if you ask me. But Mike Tomlin comes in at number 2. At number 1, this coach has had the most pressure on him for years. And just coming off of a Super Bowl loss, the pressure rises even higher for him. You got Kyle Shanahan, the coach of the 49ers, that lost in the Super Bowl again. But anyways, Kyle Shanahan, third Super Bowl appearance, third time giving up a 10-point lead. When are you going to do something, for crying out loud, huh? When are you going to do something? I mean, for one, you had the most talented roster in the NFL in recent memory. You had Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Brett Warner, Eric Armstead, Jeremy Ward, George Kittle, CMC, Daboll, Ayuk, and Purdy? I mean, what? How do you choke to a Chiefs team that wasn't even good last year? Their receivers were dropping passes left and right. And you lost to Mahomes again? I mean, this is just getting to a boiling point. My grandma is a 49ers fan, and I'm speaking up for the Niners when I say this. I'm a Hawk fan, but I'm speaking up for the Niners when I say this. You have to win the Super Bowl, period. If you are what you really declare you are, which is a Super Bowl contender, you don't choke a 10-point lead 3 times in a row. And if Kyle Shanahan loses one more Super Bowl, he's going to join the name with 3 of the worst NFL coaches in the NFL. And those lists of head coaches are Dan Reeves, Marv Levy, and Bud Grant. I mean, you do not want to join a list that is that awful. I mean, really. You do not want to join a list that is that god awful. The Niners have been in contention for years. Kyle Shanahan, we all know that he's good in the regular season. We all know he's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. But why haven't you won a Super Bowl when you have the most talented roster in the NFL? I mean, for real. You should have won a Super Bowl by now if you had that talent. And if you were really an offensive talent that you said you were. This coach, Kyle Shanahan, has been one of the top head coaches in offensive rank. Brock Purdy ranked almost 1 in every single category. Touchdown interception ratio, yards per game, total yards, total touchdowns. But how many Super Bowls do you have to show for it in the past 30 years? 0. You have 0 to show for that. Especially in those last 5 years that Kyle Shanahan has been the head coach. You should have at least won a Super Bowl by now. As weak as the NFC was that year, I mean, you had the Lions, you had the Eagles that were mediocre in the last bit part of the season before they collapsed. You had the Cowboys that were frauds. You had the Packers that almost beat you. And then you beat out the Lions in one of the great comebacks of the NFC Championship game. But you did not beat Kansas City, who you've not even recorded a win against since Mahomes joined the league. Which you're probably even scared to even play the Chiefs, if you ask me.
No, 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 no. Wait, wait, wait. Wait, 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 wait.
But it is a fact. Kyle Shanahan has to win a Super Bowl this year, period. Or else his coaching career in San Francisco is done, period. But that's why I have him at number 1. But to recap the list, I have Kyle Shanahan number 1, Mike Tomlin number 2, Mike McCarthy at number 3, Sean McDermott at number 4, Sean Payton at number 5, Robert Saleh at number 6, Jonathan Gannon at number 7, Dennis Allen at number 8, Brian Daboll at number 9, and Kevin Stefansky at number 10. Let me know in the comments of what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you guys think that there's a coach on here that I missed? And if it is one that I left on this list, and if it's one I did not leave on this, did not put on this list, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below because I would like to hear it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all in the next one. Ciao for now.